ఇండియాలో చాలా టఫ్ ఎగ్జామ్ పెట్టి కొంతమంది సెలెక్ట్ చేసి కేవలం రూరల్ డెవలప్మెంట్, మోస్ట్లీ హిల్లీ ట్రైబల్ ఏరియాస్, అండర్ డెవలప్డ్ ఏరియాస్లో కలెక్టర్స్తో పాటు వర్క్ చేస్తారనమాట. సార్ దానికి సెలెక్ట్ అయ్యి ఒరిస్సా, కలహండిలో ఇలాంటి ప్రాంతాల్లో అంతా పనిచేశారు. సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ఇంటర్వ్యూకి చాలాసార్లు వెళ్ళారు. రేపు 20వ తారీఖు పొద్దున ఇంటర్వ్యూ. ఓకే, మనల్ని కలవడానికి విజయవాడ నుంచి వచ్చారు. సో ఒకసారి తను ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్, పర్టికులర్లీ సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్లో తనకున్న ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్ మీతో షేర్ చేసుకుంటే, ఎందుకంటే సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ప్రాసెస్లో ద ట్రయల్స్ అండ్ ట్రిబులేషన్స్ అని అంటుంటాం. కష్ట నష్టాలు, సుఖాలు అన్నీ ఉంటాయి. ఆ ప్రాసెస్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది, మీరు ఇప్పుడే స్టార్ట్ అయ్యారు కాబట్టి అన్నీ ఈరోజు స్పెషల్గా వచ్చి మొత్తం పాత్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ సంబంధించి మీకు ఒకసారి ఒక క్లారిటీ ఇవ్వమని చెప్పి అడిగాను. యాక్చువల్ రాత్రే వెళ్ళిపోవాల్సింది ఢిల్లీకి, రిక్వెస్ట్ చేసి ఆపాను. ఈరోజు మార్నింగ్ వచ్చి మాట్లాడాలి మనం. దట్ ఈస్ ద థింగ్ అనమాట. మీరు సార్ మొత్తం నెక్స్ట్ ఈ క్లాస్లో సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ పాత్వే చెప్తారు. మెయిన్గా తన ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్, ఏ సబ్జెక్ట్ ఎలా చదివారు, దానికి సంబంధించిన ఛాలెంజెస్ ఎలా ఉంటాయి, దేని ప్రాసెస్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది. ఇట్ ఈస్ లైక్ ఎ స్పెషల్ క్లాస్. తను చెప్తూ ఉంటారు, నాలాగా ఆపి నోట్స్ డిక్టేట్ చేయరు, మీరు రన్నింగ్ నోట్స్ రాసుకోవాలి. తన ఇంటర్వ్యూకి వెళ్ళి వచ్చిన తర్వాత తనకి ఖాళీ ఉంటే కొన్ని మంచి టాపిక్స్ చూసుకుని he'll give lectures also in future.
Thank you, madam, for such a good introduction about me. Right, today I am going to narrate just my story about preparation in civil service exam. I am not going to give any subject details and all. Just write my experience in UPSC civil service preparation. Why I wanted to join civil service examination after working in difficult and hilly terrains. You know, how many of you are aware of KBK region? By this time you might have got some idea about KBK region. Kalhandi, Bolangir, Koraput region. These are the most backward regions in India. In 1996 there were hunger deaths happened in Kalhandi district because there was starvation, there was drought, such a hilly forest backward regions. After working there, I thoroughly motivated to come to write UPSC exam and join civil service, because civil service gives such a opportunity, good opportunities to directly or indirectly bring about changes in the lives of the backward people, the rural people. So after I got motivation from working that areas, I decided to write civil service examination in 2015. So after 2015 till now, I faced a lot of trials and tribunals, lot of challenges, because I continued for 4 to 5 years preparation. So I want to narrate that experience, right? First of all, you should have an idea why you want to join civil service, right? How many of you have clear idea about why you want to join civil service? Why? What is the reason and what is the motivation for you to join civil service? What is the motivation? To get good government employee, good government job, power. Okay, power to serve your country. To serve your country, you can also join another platform. Army you can join. What is that motivation? Social respect. Okay, social respect. Anyway, you have number of reasons for you to join, for you to write this exam and join civil service. But this civil service preparation requires, I want to make a conclusive and controversial statement now. This requires smart preparation. How many of you agree with me, or how many of you disagree with me? How many of you disagree with me? This requires smart preparation. Gone are the days where you have to sit 18 hours or 20 hours. Earlier, the earlier toppers used to say, I used to sit 18 hours without drinking tea, without drinking food. Gone are the days. Now you have to do very smart preparation. What do you mean by smart? Not by the appearance anyway. What do you mean by smart? Consistency is smart. Productive work. What do you mean by smart? You know how many of you have heard of smart cities? Smart cities, smart technology, smartphone. What are you doing with smartphone? Yes, put less efforts and achieve more efficiency. It's about efficiency. It's not about how many hours of preparation you are putting, how many hours you are spending for reading the books or reading any material. This is about selecting the right material, selecting the strategy, right strategy. prioritizing the subjects and limiting the resources. I don't read more than 5 to 6 books for prelims, not more than 5 to 6 books, just limiting the resources. Don't read everything that is available in the market. The smart work that I told a little earlier also includes what not to read. This is also includes what not to read. That is the first major prioritized thing that you should think about when you prioritize the civil service preparation. First, avoid those things which are not useful for preparation. Selectively select your resources. By this time, you might have some idea about what are the important resources, right? So I'm going to narrate this, what is smart work in all levels. So when it comes to prelims, don't read more than 5 to 6 books. Like polity, Lakshmikant. Environment, you might have like Shankar IAS. You might have got some idea about Shankar IAS, right? History, spectrum. Sources, I'm not going to tell all the sources, but limit 5 to 6 books. That's it. And most of you, I've seen in this Ashok Nagar, most of the students, whenever they study for prelims, always run behind current affairs. Always these current affairs are some 365. If you see the question paper, 70 to 75 questions come from basic static books, and people do ignore that basic static books and always run behind current affairs. That's not going to work. Once upon a time, 2016 paper, they asked more questions about current affairs, and this still that trend has been continued by the candidates. If you see the 4 to 5 year paper, most of the questions come from static. If you see the static last year paper also, last year prelims paper, I read only for 10 days. Because my static basics are very clear, and I got 128 score. The paper, many people told that the paper was tough, paper was lengthier, but the paper is not lengthier, because if your static basics are clear, this was the easiest paper. That was the easiest paper. And second thing, prelims is not about picking up the right answer. This is not the picking up the right answer. Unlike other prelims examinations where you have to remember years, names in the persons, places in the news, that's not going to work here. This is about arriving at the right answer, not picking up the right answer. By hook or crook, you should arrive at the right answer. But various techniques are there. For example, let me give the my own story. In 2015, I was working and simultaneously giving the exam also. 2015, that was my first attempt. So I prepared for 2-3 months for preparation for prelims exam, and I went to write this prelims exam because I was very sure that I was not going to make into the list. However, I know only 35 questions in that 2015. Only 35 questions I know, but I took a risk. I attempted 100 questions, and my score was 142. That's true. 142. Why? Because I did not run behind the picking up the right answer. By hook or crook, I should pick the right answer by elimination technique, or by intuition. Intuition also sometimes going to work, right? See, any serious, even if it is the all India topper, or Air 1 ranker also, or the last ranker also, even the people who does not make into the list also, anyone, if you take the prelims examination, all of them know only 40 questions. Only 40. Beyond that, no one can solve 40 questions. Beyond that, no one can solve more than 40 questions. How do they attempt 80 questions or 90 questions? Because you have to get the habit of arriving at the right answer, not picking the right answer. This is the attitude you should develop. That is approach you should follow in prelims. If I consider all the stages, I would rate prelims is the toughest stage. Why I am saying that? Why prelims is the toughest stage? Not negative marking. See, almost 5 to 6 lakh candidates appear, and they used to select. They select only 10,000 candidates. Some fortunate candidates also come into the list, and we should not give opportunity to them. Some candidates who are preparing for other state exams or bank exams, they also, just because it is a objective based test, they also can make into the test. But we are serious aspirants, we are preparing for years for optional mains exam also, we may not be make into the list. So we should be very careful about the prelims. So those serious aspirants who are very sure about prelims, 90% they will clear mains. 90% they will clear mains. So you should be very careful about prelims. So I already told you, this is not picking up the right answer, arriving at the right answers. How you will arrive at the right answer. So now I told you 5 to 6 subjects, right? Now you have to prioritize the subject. How will you prioritize this subject? So if I consider all the subjects for prelims, environment is, you should give more priority to environment. Why I said environment? Why I said environment. It is common for both civil service examination and Indian Forest Service examination. That's why you should give more priority to environment. So around 20 to 23 questions every year. Every year. On an average, 20 to 22 questions come from environment. So environment also, you need to do some smart work here. After finishing the static, there are certain gray areas who normal aspirants don't do that. You have to do that. What you have to do? See, every year they ask some 4 to 5 questions from the questions related to national parks, biosphere reserves, wildlife sanctuaries, right? Are the places nearer to wildlife sanctuaries or national parks, are the rivers passing through that? How do you do that? How do you do that? Since you have a lot of time, right? Take a paper, right? Take a A4 sheet paper, and for each state, make a list. What are the wildlife sanctuaries in that state? Biosphere reserves in that state? National parks in that state? And also geographical indication tags in that state. Geographical indication tags, any GI tags in that state, or major rivers in that state. For every state, you make a list, right? And also some specific places, pilgrim places, like Sun Temple. Sun Temple is the most favorite area of UPSC temples, right? You make that important temples, pilgrim places, and do it like a hobby. Revise it whenever you find a free time. Do it like a hobby. Don't do it like you're reading for a UPSC exam. If you do it like a hobby, you can remember in the exam result. Strike your mind when you are present. But that will be useful for you to remove the wrong answers. Elimination. Removing the wrong answers. Elimination. Always keep in mind that arriving at the right answer. Don't do preparation that you will pick right answer in prelims. You make a list of it. What are the list? National parks, biosphere reserves, wildlife sanctuaries, important species, endemic species in that state. If it is possible, you also make exact place also. Another thing, geographical indication, some pilgrim places, temples, right? And revise it number of times. Keep less sources, revising number of times. Keep less sources, revising number of times. This is the smart work. Not reading all things, or prioritizing. After environment, what is important? So important subject for prelims, science and technology, economy is the important. If we take the last year paper, how many questions came from economy? 20 to 23. And if you see the entire paper, economy also, all of the questions tested basic knowledge, except 1 or 2 questions, because they tested the knowledge also, current affairs knowledge also. But rest, most of the questions are in the nature of testing the basic understanding. How many of you are from economic background? Only one or two. But how many of you find you did your BA in economics? BA economics. Okay, very few. But most of you are from, I guess most of you are from engineering backgrounds, right? Right. You find, how many of you find difficult about this economy? But economy is not such a difficult subject, provided you do with proper basic understanding. Don't do it. What is that? What is just economy? Let me give you that example. I'll develop the entire economic syllabus from the scratch. What is that economy? What is economy? First of all, when it comes to mind, what do you think about economy? Budget. What do you mean by that budget? Expenditure and income and expenditure. So there are consumers, there are producers. Producers produce, let's take example, food, and food is consumed by the consumers. For that, what they do, consumers either pay money, or either pay good, or either pay services. So no, nothing is free in this universe. You have to pay for that in some or other form, either through providing goods, or either through providing services, or either through money. Initially it was barter system. Just make a broader understanding of economy. Earlier it was barter system. What they found it difficult. It was not possible all the times, all the places, all the circumstances. It was not possible to do this exchange through barter system. That's why they invented money, right? With that money, what happened? There was surplus of money. The surplus of money, either they do spend on their goods and meeting their demands, meeting their wants, either goods or services. But still, some people left with surplus. For that, to save that surplus, banking came. Money they created first. Money was created. Yes, there was surplus. To save that surplus, banking came. What banking do? Banking do take deposits and give loans. Why that loans? While that loans, it will be used as an investment. It will be used as an investment. investment will go to various sectors. What are the various sectors? Agriculture sector, industrial sector, and service sector. So when there is investment, there will be some economic activities, so people will be employed. People will be employed. So when the investment flows into the different sector, people will get employment. So people will get employment. When they get employment, what will they get? Savings, salary they will get, wages they will get. So wages they will get, again they will, some part of that they will be used for consumption, right? When they are using more money for consumption, that means that they are buying more goods and services. When they are buying more goods and services, what does it mean? They are trying to improve their living standards. There will be some improvement in their living standards. Earlier they were used to consume just normal plate of meals. Now they got employment, they are getting good salary. Now what is happen? When people are consuming biryani, there will be more demand for biryani, right? When there is more demand for biryani, there will be more investment will come from biryani centers. When more investment will come from biryani centers, automatically it will create ancillary employment, not only in the direct employment, or indirect employment also. What is indirect employment? The Zomato, Swiggy are giving orders. Again, it is creating employment, right? Just think about it. So what is happening here? More goods and services produced in the economy. That means when there are more goods and services produced in that economy, what is going to happen? What do you say that? There will be growth in the economy. There will be economic growth. When there will be economic growth, then foreigners will see that yes, India is performing well, we should go there, right? We should go there, we will get more profits. Bloody here we are not getting profits for the last 10 years. Let's go to some other center which is giving more profits. Then they will come up with here, or we'll call it as investment, foreign direct investment or foreign institutional investment, right? Again they will come here and again they will start economic activities. But all these economic activities and for savings, you need a proper security, otherwise it will be, right, it will be steal by someone else, or it will be theft, right? There will be theft. For that, government will provide law and order enforcement. So government will not be able to provide all these services for free. What you have to do? You have to pay tax, right? You have to pay tax. Government will collect taxes from various companies and the people, individuals. And apart from providing services, government also creates some social sector schemes, socio-economic welfare and developmental schemes. What do you call that? Is fiscal policy. That is called fiscal policy. And the money that is flowing into the banking industry, apart from giving loans, there are also some regulatory bodies. They'll ensure that the prices are stable. They'll ensure that either RBI or the banks are ensure that the more money is not in the economy. If more money available in the economy, for example, goods are not in surplus, but there is more money in the economy, what will happen? There will be more demand. That means you are ready to spend more money with you. That means you are ready to spend all the money available with you. That means you have to spend a lot of money on that. That means there will be increase in the prices of the lesser goods, right? Inflation. That is to be addressed by the regulator. What is that regulator? RBI. Right? Monetary policy, whatever. I'm not going to details. I'm just giving the basic framework of the syllabus. Anyway, we are going to study in detail in the subject. That's it. Syllabus, you make it this simple. Understand the broader understanding. First, money came for the exchange of goods and services. And that money has to be put into the banking industry through control. And the bank has to be safeguarded free from all illegal activities. So there will be enforcement agencies, law and order. For that, government will take care of it. You need to pay taxation. And all the people are not privileged people. There are certain people who cannot meet the goods and services because lack of assets, lack of resources. So government has to take care of those the interest of those people also. Now this came in the form of inclusive government, inclusive growth. What do you mean by the inclusive government or inclusive growth? So anyway, growth is happening, but it is concentrated. Whose hands the growth is happening? For whom it growth is happening? That is to be taken care. That is to be thought of. Government will take care. How it will? The growth, fruits of the growth should also reach to the bottom of the downtrodden people also. Right? Everyone should bring into the net of growth story. No one should feel that we are not able to reap the benefits of the growth. That is why the inclusive growth. What is that inclusive growth now? What do you mean by who are the beneficiaries of this inclusive growth? Vulnerable sections of the people. Who are the vulnerable sections of the people? Like women, child, old age people, pensioned off people, SCs and STs, OBCs, This is that. For that, we have social sector economy in front social sector. For them to bring into the network, what government should do? That they should come up with some targeted policies. The targeted policies should be oriented like some subsidies, some require subsidies, some requires empowerment, some requires entitlements, some require empowerment. So what is that empowerment means? See, ma'am used to say one quote. I think this: give a man fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man fish, feed him for lifetime. Do you follow that quote? So what is the first sentence of the quote says? Give a man fish, feed him for a day. That means entitlements. Teach a man fish, feed him for a lifetime. That means empowerment. So what government policy approach to empower people? It should provide skill. It should provide proper education. It should provide health. It should provide skill. It should provide employment. So that is taken care by the social sector development expenditure. How it is again, that is designed in the fiscal policy. Now the countries producing goods and services, not only for the domestic consumption, but also there are some demand for these goods and services outside country. Then came international trade. That means you have surplus goods and services in your economy. You wanted to export, that called export, and you don't have some goods and services which, because you are not able to produce them because of lack of resources, because of lack of technology, or because of lack of skill among the people, you need to get some goods and services from other countries. That is called import. So these exports and imports are international trade. So this international trade always will not happen in the currency which you are using, right? For that, what you need? Foreign, either dollar or yen or anything. That is gold, either gold. Now gold cannot be used as the transaction because gold is limited. You cannot take all the gold in the earth. Gold is limited. Earlier they used to do in Britain, the East India Company or European companies used to trade with India. What was the exchange medium of exchange that time? Gold or silver coins. See, that time India was the largest holder of exchequer, bullion, because there was lot of demand for Indian cotton, lot of demand for Indian spices, and cotton. Now we don't want, at that time we did not want the goods and services of the other countries, but there was a lot of demand for them. That's why they came with lot of bullion here. That's why the local kings allowed them. Otherwise, why would they allow the European companies here? Why the local kings and princes allowed them? They were coming here with lot of gold here, and because they were coming with lot of gold. They were creating demand here. When they were demand, there were most of the people set up manufacturing and handicrafts here. That's why they allowed. It was benefiting initially. It was benefiting Indian economy initially. That's why the Mughal kings or local kings they allowed. Why? Because they are coming here with a lot of gold. Now gold is in limited quantities. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't be possible with gold. Now what we have to do? We have to create some. We have to do this international trade transaction, either internationally accepted currency. Right? What is that currency? Dollars or pounds or anything. So we have to have also some forex reserves to meet our import needs. Or for that, what we need? We need to more exports. For that, we need to produce more exports. The government is also coming to promote exports. Otherwise, if exports are less, and imports are less, what happened in 1991? Most of you might have known LPG. So like in 1991 or like in today, India was always depending on importing oil, crude oil, because we do not have sufficient oil reserves. 80% of our oil resources are met through imports. So that is fixed. So there will always be more imports than exports. Now what India should concentrate on that? Exports. What are our possibilities? What are the opportunities for information technology? We are already doing very good. That is not only sufficient, but we have all other opportunities. All other opportunities for us. What we have to do? We have to utilize them. For that, we need to proper policy. We need to have proper policy intervention. This is about imports and exports. These imports and exports are tracked by some international organizations. What are the international organizations? WTO, World Trade Organizations, International Monetary Fund, and also World Bank. World Bank also give loans to the countries. So you need to have a broad framework economy. And in economy also, 85% questions they test only basics, and that too statics. So after environment and economy, what is the most? Polity. Polity, most of you think that polity we can read and write. That is not going to. Polity also liquidates logical thinking. Polity is not that much easy as you most of you people think. There is only one book Lakshmikant. We can finish it in 10 days or 15 days. We can go for the exam, and you will see. And most of the questions you will tend to do mistakes. Polity also you have to give priority to. Again, which of the chapters do you think most important in polity? Yes. First thing is that fundamental rights and DPSP, Director Principles of State Policy, and fundamental rights and fundamental duties, because these are the philosophical aspects of the Indian Constitution. So since they belong to philosophical aspects, the questions also test your philosophical thinking, your logical thinking. If you see the questions of fundamental rights or duties, they are not direct questions. You have to think over on that. So you have to have a framing opinion on each and every fundamental rights, why they should do, why we should follow, why can't we follow another approach. So in polity also you give more importance to these three, and then parliament, right? Then majority of the questions come parliament. Parliament also you have to revise number of times. Polity is not easy. Environment you can economy you can revise 1 or 2 times. At least you can have a basic understanding. But polity you have to think more, not about reading. You have to think more on the polity. If you think more and understand the basic essence of the each and every aspect in that polity, it will be very easier to eliminate again. What is first? Whenever you solve a prelims paper, just don't think about the right answer. First you read the question and first think about what are the wrong answers. First think about wrong answers. There are 4 options. When you very sure that 3 are wrong, what is obviously you will arrive at right answer, right? And when you are sure that 4 options are given and 3 options are wrong, and obviously you will be left with only right answer. That will come only when you have a thought process on politics. When you have a thought process and logical conclusion. So apart from Lakshmikant, you also read Constitution at Work, 11th class. And these 2 are sufficient. Constitution at Work. Because polity also sometimes, UPSC is, all of you know, it is very unpredictable, right? That is also you should be prepared for that. Sometimes they ask 25 questions from polity. The next year they'll ask 5 to 6 questions from polity. So that's why I'm telling prioritizing and keep revising. That's why you should keep your resources very limited. But what you need is revision. Whenever you find revision, do it like a hobby. Take your phone, take a Telegram group, they used to post questions. When you go for tea, just solve it while drinking tea. Make your mind, tune your mind to prelims. After polity, what is important? Geography, history. What is your? I think most of you have seen the previous questions. How many of you write by this time? Right? No, art and culture. So history also you need to prioritize. Modern history. Most of the questions, 80% of the questions come from modern history. Again, there are some prioritizing areas. Changes brought by the Britishers during 1757 to 1857. What are the changes they brought in social sphere, economic sphere, administrative sphere, right? Police, law and order, and military. In that, again, you have to give more. Then come to socio-economic reform movements. Socio-economic reform movements, most of the people ignore that. 2 to 3 questions come from socio-economic reform movements. Even though it appears difficult, but if you read 2 to 3 times socio-economic reform movements, they'll ask questions not only in prelims but mains also. Socio-economic reforms are related to your mains in 2 papers. One in society and also history. The knowledge you gain in the socio-economic reforms, you can also use in the society. Even though you don't get questions from prelims, but you will get some 1000 to 120 marks from mains only from society. But the knowledge you gain in the socio-economic reform movements, you can use that, right? After socio-economic reform movements and changes in that, now go to national movement. National movement also we should give more priority after arrival of Gandhi. The movements happened after arrival of Gandhi. Gandhi arrived India from South Africa in 1915. Now after 1915, what he did? What are the major movements or the major local movements brought initiated by Gandhi? And then to non-cooperation movement, and then come to civil disobedience movements, right? Then quit India movement, individual satyagraha, and then after that the policies of British India between 1939 to 1947, August offer, Cripps mission, cabinet plan, and finally Mountbatten plan. These are also important. Wavell plan also, in the middle Wavell plan. So you need to prioritize and revise, understand that. Apart from that, UPSC is also asking movements, civil rebellions, peasant movements, and tribal movements. Every year you take the paper from the last 10 years. There is one or two questions from these movements, rebellions, civil rebellions, tribal rebellions, and peasant movements. There is a question. Last year, if you take this Munda revolt, direct questions, right? Last year question, there is Munda revolt. Many people did not revise, they got confusion. Many of my friends I know, they're exclusively sitting and preparing. Because of lack of preparation and because of lack of proper understanding, they committed mistake. That is a very question that is directly came from NCERT. And most of you, before you shifting to these 5 to 6 resources, what I told earlier, you must finish NCERTs and make a short note. Make a short note of 20 to 30, not more than 20 to 30 pages of NCERT. NCERTs, you must do NCERTs and make a short note and leave that. Don't do it. You can always remember, revise your short note. Then after NCERT, you can revise these major sources, 5 to 6 sources, right? After history, you should not ignore art and culture. Art and culture, don't ignore. This is again, most of the people ignore art and culture, but you as a serious aspirants, don't ignore art and culture, because sometimes I know in 2017 or I mean 2013, even though I did not appear for that exam, some 18 questions they asked from art and culture. If you see the previous papers, 18 questions they came from art and culture. In that art and culture also, Buddhism and Jainism, very important area. Buddhism and Jainism. Either one or two questions directly come from Buddhism and Jainism. Don't ignore that. Buddhism and Jainism. Then art and culture again. I told you, you should make a list that earlier also. Little earlier I told you, you should make a list of temples, right? So that is also there is coming. Again, temples, the places, the temples they are asking in the matching. They will not ask direct question. 4 to 5 questions they ask in matching. Either geographical indication tags or temples, they ask in matching. And remember that they will give you a clue. With your basic understanding or with your repository of knowledge, UPSC gives you a clue. Prelims is not about knowledge test. It requires knowledge and your logical ability, logical thinking. It is like solving a reasoning in banking or in CSAT. You see that they will give you a big puzzle. What you have to do that? What is that reasoning puzzle? They will give you some big narration and you have to find out some answers for that based on that narration. The UPSC prelims question paper is also that similar to that reasoning. What you have to do, but requires a little, it requires a little knowledge base. But this remaining 60% is about your logical thinking, logical ability by using that knowledge. So art and culture, Jainism and Buddhism is very important, and then paintings. Paintings is also very important area. You also in that state, right? I told you that you have to make a list of states. For that list, you also add the paintings in any particular state. It may be classical paintings or folk paintings. We add that. See, in India we have diverse cultures. So every culture has some folk arts related pertaining to that culture. Maybe folk dance or folk music or folk paintings. Apart from classical music, we also have diverse folk arts, painting, dance, and music. But in that, folk paintings and these classical paintings are very important. Very important area. You add that to the list also. So all the serious aspirants, I am telling you again, you make a list of the 26 states. 26 or whatever. Make the list of states and make that list and keep revising. Whenever you find, make a list and take the photographies and save in your smartphone. Whenever you, even if you are going for a movie, if you find a song is boring and you revise that, right? That is what smart work. Doesn't mean that you have to preparing for civil service exam that I should not watch movies, I should not go to any entertainment. Even if you are going for an entertainment purpose, just CA, UPSC, anything, just observe that is required for UPSC preparation. Even if you are going for a movie, understand what is they discussed in that movie. You can use that in your case studies, in ethics case studies, or in your essay writing. That approach is needed. That attitude is needed to crack this exam. Gone are the days where they had two options, two optional subjects, and to have to sit for 18 hours and by heart all the optional subjects. Now that is now the exam has become more dynamic and it requires flexible thinking from the candidate. Why that flexibility? Because you will be appointed as an IAS officer or IPS officer or foreign service officer or revenue service officer. You have to work in diverse conditions and difficult conditions. So for that, they also expecting flexibility from you. So you need to develop that habit of flexibility, right? So you do that and take the photograph or take the PDF and save in your cell phone. Whenever you find a time, you revise that. That is going to help at least by 15 marks. You will get more than 15 marks than the average candidate. You know the importance of 15 marks in prelims. Most of my friends last year, they failed by 0.66 or 2 marks. There is a close competition. You can see that such a close competition in prelims. But after art and culture, geography, right? Geography, geomorphology is not asked in prelims. But geomorphology, the geological features, formation of various geological features, that is important for mains. But geography, you again you can prioritize climatology, oceanography, and the basics of the sun and planets, the universe. 4 important areas I'm going to tell for prelims: universe, the planets, and the longitude and latitudes, right? And then go to oceanography and climatology in various climatic regions. Yes, various climatic regions, right? We have how many climatic regions? 13 or 14? 13, right? Starting from equatorial region to polar region, right? That is important. And then go to Indian geography. Indian geography, they'll ask. This is how you have to prioritize. But geomorphology, you should be prepared to write good answers in mains. They will not ask in prelims. They're not going to. If you see the last 10 years questions, they're not going to ask questions from geomorphology, but they're asking 115 marks or 10 marks in mains. So you have to prioritize that, right? But Indian geography and these 4 areas, you need to give more importance for prelims. So what are you left with? What are you left with? Science and technology, right? Science and technology. Why the science and technology important? Science and technology, every year they are asking from 8 to 10 questions. And I'll tell you one trick here. Except very rare conditions, most of the times whenever you find science and technology questions, go with answer D, all of the above. Don't use your own thinking that, right? It is most of the time you tend to do mistake if you use your own knowledge in that. This is the trick. Most of the time, last year you take the last year question paper, you say there is a question, last year there was a question, artificial intelligence, what are the benefits of artificial intelligence? There is one option, creating stories. You may think, how an artificial intelligence write a story? Story is all about human creation, human creativity. No, I will not going with the option story. Artificial cannot be used for writing stories. You eliminate that, but that is also there. Don't use that logical here, it is not valid here. Most of the times, science and technology questions, all of the above are correct. All of the above are correct. In environment also, if they give pollutant gases, last year in 2019 paper, they asked which of the following gases are emitted from burning the biomass. They gave 4 answers: carbon dioxide, ozone, carbon monoxide, and methane. Most of the people, bloody ozone is in stratosphere. How can ozone is emitted from this biomass? Most of the times, but that is there. So don't use that here. Most of the times that is right. Go with that. All of the above, go that. Don't use your logic here, right? So science and technology, again you have to prioritize latest technologies like Internet of Things, Industrial Revolution 4. What are the Industrial Revolution 4? Robotics, yes. Artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, big data analytics. Then nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is also UPSC favorite area. Nanotechnology is UPSC favorite area. Nanotechnology and biotechnology. Biotechnology applications both are UPSC favorite area, not in prelims and also in mains. If you see the last year 2020 question paper, nanotechnology application 10 marks they asked. Again science and technology application during COVID-19 they asked for 15 marks. This year 2020 mains, right? So science and technology, after I think before geography you have to you have to give more importance to science and technology because it is low hanging fruits. Science and technology is low hanging fruit because you need not put more efforts on that. There are some 6 to 8 important areas. Just understand that important areas. What is that important areas? Space, defense, biotechnology, nanotechnology, information and communication technology, and latest robotics. And this robotics, artificial intelligence, internet of things, and all requires basic understanding. Just basic understanding. But in space and defense, you need to remember some previous achievements. Again, you have to prioritize. See, science and technology, if you read for prelims, it is also you're simultaneously reading for mains. You need not revise again. Whatever knowledge you gain during your prelims preparation in science and technology, with that knowledge you can write a good answer in mains also. So if you prioritize that, you can easily get through prelims. And one fundamental thing that you need to remember is prelims is not about picking the right answer. And always prepare for that. You will be knowing only 40. Even the first ranker also will be knowing only 40 questions. Even the people who studied exclusively for prelims also will be knowing 40. You prepare for that. Then rest 60 questions depends on the approach you followed. Depends on your mindset. What is that mindset? Prelims requires stable mindset because you need to solve 100 questions in 2 hours. It's not a difficult, it is not an easy task. You will face a lot of pressure in the exam hall. So that requires the stable mindset. And how this you can get this stable mindset? The approach I told you. The approach you told, don't take too much pressure on yourself by sitting for hours and reading number of books that is available in the market. That is not at all going to help. Wastage of your money, energy, and most precious time. You are in most productive years. You left your careers. Otherwise, you would have got some employment in another sector. Most of your engineers, right? You might have get good employment in IT sector, and you might have developed a skill in that IT sector. But you left that here and you came here, and that's why you need to do smart work. So always keep the resources very few. These many resources, but achieve more. That is what required for current trend of UPSC preparation. Don't run behind whatever material that is appearing in the market. That is not at all going to help you. Always stick to the ground. Always stick to the basics. Even that is going to help you for mains also, for writing a good essay, for writing good answers in the ethics, for writing good answers in society. No, I'm telling you, if you read properly socio-economic reform movements, what is the socio-economic reform movements? What is the most emphasis? What was their emphasis in the socio-economic reform movements? Bringing about understanding the social realities, understanding the evaluation of societal problems, challenges in that, and trying to solve those challenges with a proper approach. This is about what are the social challenges that time though these people are facing: caste system, disabilities on women, disabilities on untouchabilities, female infanticide. These are the problems are well relevant today as they were relevant at that point of time. There are some other form they are existing today. That is the society. That's what the society syllabus talks about. Of course, but there are some external influence on our society today, mostly after 1991. What is that? Globalization. You just understand the present society in the light of globalization. That's it. Otherwise, if you are reading socio-economic reform movements, that you are already reading society. So that integration between the mains and prelims is required. That integration is required between the mains and prelims. See, after prelims, if you are reading new things for mains, means that you are doing mistake. Except optional, you should not read anything for new things for mains. What you need writing practice. See, writing, once you are done with prelims with good score, you can spend that time on writing practice. I think ma'am will take care of it. So ma'am used to conduct main sessions between 2 to 4 between prelims and mains during our preparation to mains. Every day ma'am used to conduct these main sessions, like who are selected in the mains, like some 30 to 40 members will be sitting in a room, and ma'am used to come with 5 to 6 answers, new questions, and she used to ask us to write what is your approach. That was a good help for me. That was because of that it helped me a lot in the mains preparation, because spontaneously you think on the issue. If you know something, you will write with a good answer. But if you have some idea, at least you will come up with some relevant answer. That is what required in the mains. Mains also it's not about knowing all the questions, because some questions you don't know the data, you don't know the knowledge, you don't know the idea, but you can write some relevant answer. It is not, again, mains also you require smart work. How smart work? What is the smart work in mains? Completing the speed, completing the paper. Not about that you write good answer for only some questions and rest I don't know, I'll leave that. No. If you are leaving means 115-mark questions, if you are leaving 115-mark question means what is that? Altogether you are leaving. But you are somehow, you are attending that, you are answering that questions. At least you will get 3 to 4 marks, right? Whatever, if you write some relevant answer. So each and every mark is important. See, let's take 20 questions are there. If you are getting one mark than average candidate, what is the total score you will get? 20 more marks. And what is the 7 papers, 20 more marks? 140 more marks. Getting one more mark is very, very important. That is difficult. Getting one more mark than the average candidate is not an easy task. It's not an easy task. For that, you need to do smart work again here. What is that smart work here? Understand the question. What is asked in the question? First, understand that and write a good introduction. Now, UPSC is following a pattern here. What is the introduction? And then body, and then writing the conclusion. Now, if you know good answers for all 15 questions, but you don't know answers for some 5 questions, means maybe some 3 10 marks and 2 15 marks, and you are ready to leave that 50 marks, but you have some basic idea about that. You can write some relevant answer. You can write some good introduction, some 3 to 4 points in the body and conclusion, and at least you will get 2 marks for 10-mark question and 3 marks for 15-mark question. So what is the score you are getting? 6 plus 6, 12 marks. 12 marks in each and every paper means that is a big task. Most of the candidates last year I missed my mains by only 6 marks. Only 6 marks. Otherwise, I would have been the list. So getting each and every, even if you are scoring half marks in the mains also, half into 20 questions means 10 marks. That would have helped me because I am narrating my own story. That's why I took it as an example. If you are scoring half mark for more for all questions, means 10 in half into 20. 10 marks. So 10 marks would have helped you, right? So after prelims, mains means you need to do writing practice. At least from right now, you got have the habit of writing 1 or 2 questions. I think Madam already told you, right? This, right? Madam already told you that she is known for making you write more. I know that. Madam is known for writing practice. So Madam approach is that if you go with your answer booklet and just she will go glance through it and she will write which is important point she wrote and what is not required for that question. You take the help of ma'am here. So whatever questions is, I think you are given 2 to 3 questions every day, not right now. Maybe in near future you will be. So whatever questions given by madam, just even it is corrected, if it is corrected or not corrected, keep writing. Keep writing. And integrate your mains preparation with the newspaper. Integrate your mains preparation with the newspaper. For that, what you need to by heart the syllabus. How many of you know the syllabus fully? Syllabus should be in your fingertips. And if you don't know the syllabus, how can you integrate the current articles or the current affairs appearing in the newspaper? You'll read whatever is, whichever is. So don't, first of all, earlier what is the approach of reading newspaper? Only cinema page and sports page. Rest you will think it as a nonsense. You consider it as a nonsense, right? But now your approach should be more proactive, in line with the UPSC syllabus. In line with the UPSC syllabus. First that you should by heart the syllabus, even though it sounds silly, but that's going to help you more. So you can prioritize the topics that is appearing in the newspapers. What is important for the exam, what is not important for the exam. So otherwise, if you don't know this prioritization of the topics, you'll be end up with spending 4 to 5 hours in the newspaper. I know most of you might be facing this difficult, that not able to complete the newspaper in least possible amount of time, right? So you might have spending 4 hours or sometimes 5 hours also. Why that is happening? Because you do not have idea of the syllabus. How many of you by hearted the syllabus? That is the thing first you have to do. You by hearted the syllabus. You, right? Now are you able to complete the paper in 1 hour or 2 hours? How it's going to help you? What is the yesterday's article you read in the newspaper and how it was helped you in integrating with the main syllabus? What was the yesterday's article? You last boy. You said it helped you, right? Anyway, it helped you. Okay. I believe that it helped you. Okay. Anyway, so you should by heart the syllabus, and that is, even though that sounds silly, but you need to do that first and foremost thing, that main syllabus. And the newspaper is also going to help you writing good examples in ethics. Believe me, ethics is the easiest paper, but what you need is you understand the terminologies given in the syllabus. You know, not read more books on that. Understand the syllabus and write what is your understanding on each and every terminology given in the ethics syllabus, and add the content that is appearing in the newspaper, or give your own example. Give your own example, life experiences or work experiences. Believe me, ethics, you need not read anything new. You know what is honesty? That is what the UPSC wants. What is honesty? And give some examples. You know what is integrity? You know what is corruption, right? But you need to use some relevant terminology. That's it. Ethics also, you make a note not more than 30 to 40 pages. I still, whenever I write ethics paper, I read only before the day. The 30 to 40 pages note I made of ma'am notes. Ma'am notes is very, very important for ethics. The terminology given by ma'am in ethics class, you can use very effectively. The quotes ma'am gives in ethics class, very, very relevant and useful in ethics for you scoring good score in ethics. And the ethics class taught by madam will be also useful in writing very good essays. Very good essays also. So work is needed in all stages. Now come to interview. Now UPSC preparation starts with interview and ends with interview. This is the trend. UPSC preparation. For a serious candidate, I'm telling, serious aspirant, starts with interview and ends with interview. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by this starts with interview? What is that starts with interview means? But you have self introspection, that why do you want to come to join civil service? What motivated you to join civil service? That you should have your own understanding about yourself. What are your personality traits that are required for UPSC exam, or personality traits that are more close to a civil servant? That is starts with interview. You write that, understand yourself, self introspect yourself. Write what are your positives. Write on a paper. No, even it is not a motivation class. This is what I experienced in the preparation, and it is not a philosophical things that I'm talking about. It's a practical. Write what are your positives and what are the negatives, and how can you use these positives. Blessing in disguise. How these positive things you can use the opportunities, optimally utilize your positive things in the interview. And starts with interview means some important policies, simple important issues. You need to have your own opinion. Either take this side or that side. You should not be in dilemma, right? Revolving around the two stands. Take one stand and give your arguments. Maybe your stand may be right, may be wrong, but you have your own arguments. You have your own points which substantiate your stand. That is rewarded by the UPSC. The board member looks for your frankness, honesty, integrity. The stand taken by you may be wrong, but you have to explain. You have your own arguments why you took that stand, and that is liked by the board members. And you should not be like mediocre. Yes, sir, government is doing right, sir, because it is going to help all the people, sir, because large number of benefit is coming, sir. They're all okay. We have seen number of people like you. That what is required? They see proactive approach from you. Oh, this candidate has his own opinion, his own stand because of these reasons. So this says that he has a lot of interest to come to civil service. He has sensitivity towards society. He has sensitivity towards the people's problem. That is going to help you. So interview also you should keep in mind. So identify some important issues and try to frame opinion rather than gaining the knowledge. Gaining the knowledge may help you in mains or to some extent in prelims, but this is not about knowledge test. This is not viva voce test in your engineering labs or some other engineering examinations. They'll ask you, why do you want to come to civil service? Why will you say? What answers you say? whatever stand you have, whatever reasons you have, everybody can have your unique reasons that you will give. What is your opinion on recent Pegasus issue? They may ask. You will say government is doing, sir, it is important for security of the nations. Because doing this, because, but that is also right, but you may have your own understanding in reading in conjunction with the fundamental rights, DPSP, whatever you will have. So we are not going in the deep discussion. So interview also should be the integration and in the process of your preparation. Integrated preparation also includes interview. The smart work also includes interview. That you have your own thought process on the issues. You go to movie. So recent some what are the issues in the movie related to movie? They may ask you because some of you might have watching movies as your hobbies. Watching movies are your hobbies. Some written policies related to watching movies. So you may go to movie and you will observe some issues in that movie. Use that experience in that answer. And you need not always answer interview questions from your books or your knowledge. Use your experience, life experience. So whatever you do from when it comes to preparation, whatever you do, the daily routine things, you have to use that in your preparation in one or other form, either directly or indirectly. This is how smart work. So if you do that smart works, if you are doing the approach, even 5 to 6 hours preparation is enough for that clear examination. Optionals, you have different optionals, right? So I'm not going to, the optional is very crucial. I know that 500 marks. 500 marks, you know the importance of optional, right? So any doubts you have? So you do this smart work and definitely this is going to help you a lot. So don't run behind every book that is available in the market, but prioritize your preparation and do accordingly. Okay. CSAT. So you are from non-engineering backgrounds, right? CSAT is also, they are not asking the your mathematical abilities. They are just checking your logical ability and basic maths that you read till 10th class. So those who are from non-engineering backgrounds, you need to solve some 30 to 40 CSAT question papers. But do after going through previous question papers. So first, you need to remember one thing, that you should always the syllabus book and 10-year previous question papers, whether it is prelims, mains, or some interview also. Keep the 10 years previous questions and syllabus book with always. Our syllabus, I would rather say by heart it first. First you should by heart the syllabus.